What's up, baby? This is Deontay the Bronze Rumble Wilder. Make sure you tap into Black Authentic Truth for your latest news. It's great information, baby. Bomb Squad!
Man, you know what's going on. It's your boy Geechee Gotti. I'm rocking with Black Authentic Truth. You want to learn something? Tune in, man. Get your knowledge up. Get your history up, man. Know about something, man. You know what time it is, man. Geechee Gotti, Black Authentic Truth, man. Like and subscribe.
Black man, I have an obligation to my race of people, not to no other race or no other nationality, just to black people.
And you have always hated us. We have loved you consistently for 400 years. We prayed to that white Jesus, and we saluted your flag, and we died in your militaries, and you beat us like dogs.
This is Black Authentic Truth.
Hey, what's good? What's good with y'all, man? It's the Walker Bar for Black Authentic Truth, and you read the title right. If you are celebrating Thanksgiving, you have a colonized mind, okay? And I definitely want all the smoke, any smoke that people have to give. Last year when I went live on Thanksgiving, the live was crazy. It was viral. The comments was going crazy. People was coming up in there upset because of what I had said, that you have a slave mentality if you in fact are black and brown and you are celebrating Thanksgiving. And I'm just going to go over some history, make some points, and then I'm going to get up out of here. I actually, just like last year, have to go into the slave, right? I want to go because, you know, it's going to be that extra bread. But at my slave, and if you don't know, we call our jobs the slave. Excuse me. At my slave, right? What happened is, you know, my lead comes and always, excuse me, my lead always comes and asks me, hey, you going to be here on a holiday? Are you going to be here? Because nobody is coming in today, right? Nobody is coming to work. Everybody calling off, everybody using their time, their vacation time or whatever. And I'm like, I'm going to be there. Y'all forget every year that I don't celebrate no holidays. So I definitely will be there, not doing anything. You know what I mean? But shout out to everybody that's rocking with me. Can't take the heat. 0613. Shout out to you, brother. What's up? I'm gonna get to your comment. Brother said, excuse me. Brother said, first time this year, I decided no longer to celebrate this day after learning of my Yamasee and Muskogee Creek Native American roots out of Florida and South Carolina, man. Hey, shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. That's amazing. Listen, and even if you don't have roots as a black person, even if you are not Native American, you're seeing a wave right now of black people saying that we were already here. We're Native American Indians and all of that, right? With the FBA thing. Even if you was not, even if you know for in fact your ancestors came through the transatlantic slave trade, it still doesn't make any sense to celebrate the holiday that is rooted in genocide and murder of your brothers, the Native American Indians. It just doesn't make any sense at all, even if you don't have any native roots, any indigenous roots. Okay. Shout out to everybody that's rocking with me. And yeah, I'm gonna get right to it. Okay. Get right to it. So I got a few videos I'm gonna present. some pictures. There's one more picture I think I'm missing. Let me. Well, I can get it. I can get it. Okay. Um. So as we know, Thanksgiving is a holiday that is literally rooted in murder. Literally. Phyllis Brown. No, thank you, Phyllis Brown. Thank you for tapping in. Thanksgiving is literally rooted in, the murder and the savagery that Europeans came to this land with in order to gobble up and take all of the land from Native American Indians. Every treaty that they ever made with Native Indians, they broke. This is the reason why Native Indians came with the term paleface speaks with a forked tongue, meaning he has a tongue like a snake. He's a snake. He says one thing, but he's plotting to do another thing. He shakes your hand in an agreement in a dignified and honorable way, but he's trying to backdoor you in a treacherous way. And so Native Indian chiefs and tribes started to get the understanding of who these European settlers were really in the inside. And so you have the story where you have the Quakers coming to this new land, coming to this new land and basically seeing how good it was and meeting a man named Squanto, a Native Indian that could interpret. He could for the European settlers to, make agreements and make rules and try to, make a civilization as these new settlers were coming over here. When the word got out that this land was goodly, when the word got out that this land was goodly, it opened up the floodgates for the Europeans to start coming over here. And I'm talking particularly in Massachusetts. They started coming, and within weeks, these new settlers were stealing from the Native Indians. They were stealing their food. They were stealing, their weapons. They were stealing, you know what I mean? Instead of going out and pulling themselves up by their bootstraps, they decided to steal from the Native Indians. And tensions started to rise, and there were many problems within the colonies with Native Indians and these settlers until tensions got so bad that the settlers decided that they would just unalive everyone. And so one night they gathered together, and they shot every Native Indian man. This is the Pequot tribe. They shot every Native Indian man or clubbed them to death. And the women and children that were huddled in the longhouses, they just set on fire. They set the longhouses on fire and killed them. So they killed about 700 men, women, and children. The following day, the governor, I believe, he declared a day of Thanksgiving. And this went on. I'm going to play a video. Matter of fact, let me play this video. But this went on every time they killed a Native American Indian, they would give thanks. Okay. And so let me get this video. Play this video for you.
Thanksgiving, America. I'm Donna, and I'm here with my friends to tell you the real history behind this holiday. Growing up, I knew that what they told you in school about Thanksgiving wasn't true. That's not the true story. The true story behind Thanksgiving was, after every killing of a whole village, these European settlers celebrated it, and they called it Thanksgiving. But it wasn't until Abraham Lincoln became president that it became an official holiday.
He ordered 38 Dakota men to be hung for war crimes.
After the sacred holiday, Christmas.
We take this time to remember our elders who lost their lives due to what really happened. Usually my mom makes a Native American dish for us and we pray.
Growing up, I would be kind of annoyed that they didn't know what actually happened on Thanksgiving and that they're actually celebrating the deaths of many people and many tribes that were lost.
Whether it's to give thanks or to be with your family, you should learn how holiday was established in the first place.
I'm thankful for being born indigenous to this continent.
I'm thankful that I still have my culture.
I'm thankful that my elders kept our culture alive all these years.
I'm thankful to be indigenous, resilient, and alive.
I'm thankful for us all to be able to stand together, stand strong, and stand as one.
Happy Thanksgiving, America.
As you can see with that video, Thanksgiving, I was muted. Sorry about that. But as you can see with that video, Thanksgiving is a day of mourning. It's a day that Native American Indians remember as a terrible history in the history of their people. It's not, a happy day. It's not a day when they say, hey, let's give thanks. I'm thankful for this and I'm thankful for that, and let's fill our bellies with food, right? It's a day of mourning for Native American Indians. Now, this is in no order, but Manifest Destiny was basically how you explain it. Manifest Destiny was Europeans actually believing like it was their duty. This is actually a picture of Manifest Destiny. Europeans believing that it was their duty to go and expand westward and take over those Western lands. And we know how that ended. It ended with savagery. It ended up with Native American Indians almost being decimated and remnants of them being on reservations. Okay. And this was Manifest Destiny. This is what they believed, you know what I mean? And Manifest Destiny, really what it really was like a plague moving westward and expanding throughout the continent of North America, predominantly occupied by indigenous tribes who had never encountered a white man. But like I said earlier, these white men came shaking hands and with words as smooth as oil, but war was in their heart. That's a direct quote, paraphrasing out of the Bible, right? War was in their heart. They made those deals and they sat down dignified and civil as though they were civilized and said, listen, we'll make a treaty with you. But behind these treaties were evil plans to really just gobble up and take every stench of land that they could. Okay, so this is not in any particular order, but I want to talk about also today you have many Europeans that claim to be Native American Indian. You have many white people that you can clearly see that they are white that claim that they have Native American Indian roots. And I just want to go into a little history of how that came to be. Okay, so there was something called the Dawes Rolls, where you would get your name enlisted as a Native American Indian. Well, what happened was you had corrupt government officials that took bribes in order to put white people on those lists. So today those people will be called $5 Indians because they're really not Indians, right? But they get the benefits that were allotted to Native American Indians even till this day. Okay, now as you go back and you read the history, United States government, what they were trying to do was they were trying to assimilate Native American Indian people into American, quote unquote, European culture. So, cut your hair off, start living and thinking culturally like a white American. So what they decided to do was give allotments of land to Native American Indians. And so the thing about this is that there were strict rules you had to follow, strict guidelines you had to follow in order to get your land. On top of that, some of the land even went to Native Indian children, but many of these children were taken and put into Native Indian boarding schools. And we're going to get to that dark history. So those children, they didn't even get the land. If you were not able to meet those strict requirements, then anybody could get the land. Anybody being white people could get the land. White settlers. I know a lot of people don't like me to say settlers, colonizers. All right. They could get the land. So on one end, like going back to what I said about pale face speak with a forked tongue. On one end, they're saying, listen, we're going to make it easy for you. We're going to give you land. But on the back end, they set up all of these stipulations so that they know many of them was not going to be able to meet those requirements. So on the back end, they can come and take the land anyway. That's very, very diabolical, right? And so what ended up happening, a lot of the Native Indians couldn't meet all of those strict requirements. And those strict requirements also remind you of the welfare program, where they had a lot of strict requirements in order for a woman to actually receive the benefits. You know, they have a list of things that need to fall in line. Well, this is what happened with them, the United States government developing a plan to so-called give Native Indians allotments of land. Their plan was, if they take these allotments of land, they'll work the land and they'll start to live and assimilate more to an American European lifestyle, and they won't be so much Indian anymore. They'll be more like us meaning white people, right? Well, that never really panned out. We see with the Dawes Rolls, you had the $5 Indians, and today you have a lot of European people who are European descent, Caucasus Mountains, Mount Sear descent, that claim to be Cherokee, claim to be all in Choctaw, all really, especially those dark tribes. It's almost laughable when they say, yeah, I'm a Choctaw. I got Cherokee ancestry. And you like, what? How did this come to be? Well, that's how it came to be. The history that the brief history I just went into. Okay. Now, I want to talk a little bit. What is a video I want to go into? But talk a little bit about boarding schools. Many of y'all probably know about, but before I get into that, let me just say, as Black people, even if you don't identify as being indigenous or whatnot, it is very childish, right? To say, oh, I'm eating, I do this because it brings my family together. I do this because we all get together and we it's like a meal with the whole family. And you have to look at it like this. What if there was a celebration that was based on the fact that Black people were enslaved and conquered? What if it was a celebration like that? Because that's really what Thanksgiving is. Thanksgiving, literally, based on the history, it's a celebration of Thanksgiving, of conquering another people and stealing their land, literally murdering them. I ain't going to say conquer, I'm going to say murdering, in savagery, in genocide. Like, for some reason in our mind, we like to say, oh, I don't do it for that, right? Let me remove this. I don't celebrate for that. I celebrate for this. I celebrate for that. It still doesn't change what it comes from. You know what I'm saying? It's like a child pretending. That's why I said it was childish. It's like a child pretending that something means something that it really doesn't mean. But in the child's imagination, they're going to make it mean that. And that's what has happened with Thanksgiving. White people have carried on this tradition, and Black people, you started celebrating Thanksgiving in slavery. In slavery, Thanksgiving was a day off. And you're working in the fields on the plantation 16 hours a day. The only time you got off as a slave on a plantation was Thanksgiving, it was Christmas, and New Year's Day. Now, You could take the time off and sit in the slave shack and look at the wall or draw in the sand or whatever, or you could come out where the master has supplied alcohol, supplied some meat that you don't eat year round, and some sweets that you don't eat year round, and some music, and come out and, you know, enjoy yourself. But we were on a plantation, we were slaves. There's really not much else we could do. The thing is, we're not slaves anymore. Anybody, I don't know if anybody understands that, but we're not slaves anymore. We don't have to keep doing the celebrating the things that our ancestors really had no choice to celebrate. That's where dignity, morals, and a concept of what right and wrong comes into play. Because at some point you got to be like, well, I'm not a slave anymore, and I would rather choose being a moral, dignified person instead of filling my belly with some turkey and cranberry sauce. It's gonna come out the back end the same way everything else you eat come out. It's nothing radically special, extraordinary, different. Nothing. You know what I mean? And it's a day of mourning for my indigenous brothers. So I respect that. It's like if we had if they develop a celebration from the subjugation of black people, the slavery of black people, we would be really upset. You know how we get. We'd be really upset if there's somebody saying, well, you know, I'm celebrating. I just do it because of the family. Like, first of all, most of y'all family don't even get along. Let's keep it way real. Let's keep it $1.50. Most of your family don't get along. Most of y'all is going to be sitting at the table with somebody that molested you. Most of y'all you're going to be there with all the family getting together with family that on a yearly basis don't call each other, don't do nothing with each other, does not get along. You barely talk to your father. You don't get along with your mother. You don't get along with your uncle. You know, it's so much dysfunction in this so-called family time that ain't even being addressed or fixed. But that is your excuse for celebrating a holiday, a European holiday that is drenched in the blood of Native American Indians. Oh, it's about my family. It's about my family. Nigga, your family, y'all don't even get along. Nigga, stop it. Oh, I just want to give thanks. You know, I'm so thankful for my kids. I'm so thankful for my mama. Listen, the fact that anyone, you're going to talk about being thankful at this particular time, the reason why you're doing it is because everyone is doing it. What that means is it's not genuine. It's not genuine things. You could have did it any other time of the year, but since you want to do it around this time of the year, I know, a lot of us know, we know it's not genuine. It's not authentic. It's not. Miss me, right? Miss me with that. That's fake thanks. That's fake giving them thanks. All right. There's something else. I think I wanted to go into. So what I didn't say is after the Massachusetts governor declared a day of Thanksgiving after killing 700 men, women, and children. What they went on to do, what the lady actually said, what the sisters actually said, those Native Indian sisters said, is that they went on, and every time they murdered Native Indians in different villages, they would give thanks. They went on a savage, binging, murderous trail, just killing Native Indians until Abraham Lincoln said, okay, let's stop. We're going to make a specific day to be for Thanksgiving. And that's how you got Thanksgiving today. So you can't sit here and tell me it means something else to you, nigga, when What the hell is that? You can't tell me that was a net. You can't tell me it means something to you, something different to you, when its foundations is rooted in what it is rooted in. The history says something totally different. So, like I go back to that, that's like a child trying to make something mean something else when it doesn't. It's a mass delusion that Black people have now that they have gotten from their oppressor, that they gotten from the colonizer. It's a mass delusion. Mass meaning a lot of y'all are deluded to say, well, it don't mean that for me. But if the shoe was on the other foot, Black people would be so angry and so mad. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. If it was a celebration based on the genocide of Black people, we wouldn't be able to let it go. Right? So that's why I say you have a colonized mind. If you're celebrating Thanksgiving, it's because your brain has literally been colonized. It's like a virus has rushed in and taken over the thoughts that you should have and said, listen, this is what this is. This is how you should celebrate. You know, this is a good time. This is a time for thanks. Ask me, this is a question I wanted to ask too. Why is it that around this time now everybody wants to be giving thanks, give turkey giveaway? I said it's going to be, the turkey giveaways are going to be crazy this year because those SNAP benefits got cut off. And, you know, it just made it that much, the need that much more in the thought and mind of people. Like, oh, it's Thanksgiving. This is the time when people sit down and eat. This is the time when people, feed the homeless. This is a time where, you're supposed to be giving. Why isn't that thought process like a year long? Why ain't all the time? Why only at this time? You see how sick that is? That people at this time, they like, all right, this is the time to give thanks. This is the time to give back. This is the time to help people who are disadvantaged. Meanwhile, this holiday comes from literal genocide. That's crazy. And you want to tell me that history don't mean anything? You want to tell me, like, why are you bringing up like the past? Most people don't even know why they do 90% of the things that they do today, celebrate all the things they celebrate. They don't know, they couldn't tell you, other than they grew up in the tradition. We all grew up eating Thanksgiving dinner. We all grew up celebrating Christmas. We all grew up in a tradition. We grew up in a lie. We grew up in a world that is run by another people that have made the world how they want it to be. And our ancestors came up in that world. And then we're born into that world. We're born into a world full of lies, full of BS, full of things that they say it stands on this, but really, when you look at the history, damn, it stands on something totally different. We're born into a world full of lies. And can't nobody go tell me different. We're born into a world full of lies. And the only way to unravel the lies is to first of all, you got to have an open mind. Many people don't even have an open mind. They just lock tunnel vision in to what they grew up with. So some people you can never convince to open their mind and have a different outlook and perspective. Can't never convince them, So let me see. Let me drop this. Remove that. Talk about the boarding schools, and then I'm going to wrap it up. This wasn't going to be a long live. I just wanted to really go in on Thanksgiving like I did last year. And really it would had depended on the engagement. Okay. Last year, the engagement was through the roof. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about the boarding schools. I got a video and I just want to speak a little bit. So you had the idea that what the United States wanted to do with Native Indians that went into these boarding schools is they wanted to convert them into being more European, more white American. So they would cut their hair. They would literally write on a board different English names, and the children in the boarding school would have to go up and just pick a name, and that's how they renamed the children. As you're going to see when we get into this video, they did a lot of things to prevent the Native Indian children from continuing their culture and their customs. Okay. One of the things that they wanted to do was they wanted to kill the Indian, but save the man. And this is an image of what I'm talking about. Excuse me. They wanted to kill the Indian, but save the man. This is basically what happened to Black people, right? Totally wiped your culture out. Even today, Black people are still a lost sheep looking for an identity when the identity has been shown to Black people, right? Not all Black people, but the knowledge and the truth is starting to come out, and it's starting to reach different areas that Black people are the children of God. We're the Israelites, okay? But in Native Indian boarding school, what they wanted to do was they wanted to wipe your culture out. And you see with this picture right here is that they would cut your hair, put you in a suit. Even when they republished the image of him, they turned the exposure up on the image to make him appear lighter. Ain't that crazy? So they couldn't just cut your hair and put you in a suit. When they republished the photograph of you, they lighten it up. And that's propaganda, right? To show this is the good job we're doing to these Native Indians. We're taking these savages and we're civilizing them. Latrone said slavery by another name. That's right. That was just slavery by another name. That's all it was, right? So I'm gonna play this video. Then I'm gonna get up out of here, y'all. All right. Play this video and then we'll close it with some closing remarks. Shout out to everybody that's rocking with me. Shout out to Kawamaz Boff, Can't Take the Heat. Shout out to you, Princess Nakaf, Phyllis Brown, Latrone F. Slade. Shout out to all of y'all, okay? Let's get it.
No more Indian talk. And then she pushed me.
Former students of indigenous boarding schools and their families are demanding that the U.S. government and religious leaders take responsibility for the abuse they endured.
I want them to tell the world what they did. That they have two faces. One face is evil.
Churches that once operated the schools are now confronted with their buried pasts. After Canada discovered hundreds of unmarked graves, families in the U.S. are still desperately searching for the remains of missing children.
He could be anywhere. Well, those stones.
We traveled to Oklahoma, the state that housed the largest number of these government-funded boarding schools and caused generational trauma for the hundreds of thousands forced to enroll.
They need to let everybody know what they did because it affected all of us.
Why did y'all do this? Why? And they lost their childhood, they lost their spirit, they lost their innocence.
Now I'm going to
resign myself
I'm going to scrub through this, so y'all just bear with me.
To it, and I closed my eyes and I clutched my teeth and I put my hands out. She kept hitting me with the ruler until finally, I guess she got tired. Then she said, no more Indian talk.
Augustine.
You hear that? Now, these are survivors. There are many Native Indians that live to this day that suffered in these Indian boarding schools that were ran predominantly by the Catholic Church with priests and nuns in there. And it's recently coming out of how much these children were tormented, and how they were treated while they were there. And you see right here with this elderly woman is that she would get popped or whooped for speaking in her native tongue. Many of them totally forgot their native tongue because these nuns and priests forbade them from speaking in their native language. Okay, let me just scrub through a little bit.
To this day, where she may be.
The matron came and she took her, seemed like she jerked her from back here somewhere and threw her. I never saw her after that.
This is talking about her friend who the matron, the woman, grabbed her by the back of her shirt and snatched her and threw her. And she said she never saw her again, right?
Schools came out of a period that many consider to be systemic cultural genocide against Native people when colonizers forced tribal nations to relocate from their land. During the violent relocations, thousands of Native lives were lost. As the
Let me scrub through.
Who may be out somewhere here.
We'll find you eventually. He could be anywhere. Well, those stones.
Excuse me. Now, what has also come out is there's thousands of unmarked graves of children that they're digging up in Canada, Oklahoma, in different areas where boarding schools were located. And so it's coming out not only that these children were beat, they were sexually assaulted, they were unalive, they were also put in unmarked graves. And now they are finding these graves. And now people are trying to find their loved ones, but it is very hard because they were given different names. And sometimes they don't even know the different name they were given. And so this is the savagery of the colonizer of what they did to Native Indian children. Let me keep going.
Christine Eagle Feeling has wondered for years where her baby brother lies. She frequently visits the cemetery at Chilocco Indian School where she suspects her brother may have been buried. With records missing, Christine doesn't know his cause of death and can only rely on information her mother passed on to her.
I wonder what name they gave him when they buried him.
The Chilocco Indian School operated under the Bureau of Indian Affairs and closed down in 1980. Since then, the alumni have continued to pay their respects.
We honored them because they were us.
The alumni gathered their own funds to use a ground-penetrating radar to locate dozens of unmarked graves.
That is terrible. That is genocide. That is a level of evil that you can't even fathom, right? Similar to feeding black children to alligators or using them for alligator bait. You can't really wrap your mind. And this is the Catholic Church. We all know what the Catholic Church, all of the cases of, molestation, sexual assault that the Catholic Church has. So we really not surprised, but to, unalive these children and put them in unmarked graves is just, it's another level of evil. But this is the history of Europeans towards Native Indian indigenous people. And as I showed you, Thanksgiving is linked to all of that. The origin, the foundation of it. And that's why me as a black man, I can never see myself celebrating any of the colonizers' holidays, especially at a time where we can be free thinkers and we can think outside of the box and we can put down old traditions that our ancestors were literally had forced and had no choice to follow. Okay. Let me go scrub some more through this and then we'll wrap it up.
Attending Carter Seminary changed Augustina's life. She's still working to forgive herself for the way it affected how she raised her family.
I love my children. I loved them. But at the same time, I could not tell him, I love you. And because I guess it was never said to us, maybe.
You hear that? That's very heavy. She is dealing with the fact that she could not even tell her children that she loved them, and the way that she treated her children. What she saw and how she came up, it affected on how she loved her own children. Now you're going to tell me that trauma ain't generational. You're going to fix your mouth to say that trauma ain't generational when you got people that's a living example telling you that trauma is generational. The what I went through, I couldn't even tell my kids I love them. I couldn't even treat them like a mother is supposed to treat their children because of what I went through. You know what I mean? Let me read this. Hey, what's good with you, Ron Coleman? Shout out to you. Shalom to you. Brother Latrone said, keep teaching, brother. They, or should I say that white supremacy runs this country. We are all colonized. If we don't teach as you are right now, some will never get it. We still suffer from slavery, Jim Crow, prison, the industrial complex, drugs, crack, heroin, controlled music, etc. I guess you're saying effing with immigrants is just trying to find another path to keep killing us. The system was and is designed to do what it is doing. Break the slave type mind. That's right. Exactly. And yes, and shout out to Dr. Joy DeGruy, post-traumatic slave syndrome. Thank you for that comment, brother. Yes, we need to say it how it's supposed to be said. We need to speak it what the real is, because like you said, we all have had a colonized mind. Like I said, we all grew up into these lies. We were raised in them, from children. So it's like it's like a reprogramming that has to go on with you. But can't nobody force you to open your eyes and open your mind to a different perspective. But I appreciate that comment. All right. And to go back to his comment, what he was talking about, how we still suffer from slavery, Jim Crow, because trauma can be passed down. That's how. No, we're not in chains anymore. No, there's not black faucet, white faucet, but the effects get passed down to the children. That's why you need to read more. You need to read Dr. Joy DeGruy. Even, I don't know if this was a few years ago, they came out with a study that said that people who suffered in the Holocaust, who experienced the Holocaust, it changed their DNA from the parent to the offspring. So if that can be true, if scientists are saying that Jewish people DNA changed because of the Holocaust from the parent to the offspring, if they can say that is true about them, then why is it not true about black people? Why can't it be true about black people who went through 400 years of slavery, degradation, hatred, racial bias, racial savagery, Jim Crow, etc., etc., etc.? Come on now. But this Native woman saying, I couldn't even love my kids. I couldn't even be the best I can be because of what I seen, what I went through as a child. What the Catholic Church, quote unquote, the civilized whites, religious whites, people of God did to us. Let me keep going.
I never felt the love. I was too busy obeying and marching. And I feel guilty that that's the way that I was.
After hearing her grandmother's stories, Vanessa is just starting to process her upbringing.
I had so many questions, as I became an adult. Why aren't we affectionate? It's an overwhelming feeling to know that the person who, raised you had to endure all of this. And then it just, I felt bad. I still feel bad. helps me understand a lot more.
This is turtles. Loca.
Lucha.
Loja.
Vanessa and Augustina are proof that the forced assimilation policies failed. Besides learning Muskogee together, the two who are part of the Seminole Nation attend traditional stomp dances as well.
You have them laced up.
Generations of Native people.
I mean, do we have to go into any more? Clearly, this is the heritage of indigenous Native Indian tribes in dealing with white supremacy, in dealing with the colonizer, in dealing with the oppressor. This is not a day of thanksgiving and happiness and, family for indigenous people. This is a day of mourning. And if you are celebrating Thanksgiving as a Black and brown person, you have a colonized mind, and you need to decolonize your mind. You get what I'm saying? Thanksgiving is a day of genocide, of bloodshed, of savagery, dressed up in a quarter zip with a tie and a maca. Thanksgiving is a bloody holiday, dressed up in a quarter zip, dressed up in a three-piece suit to make it look good. But the foundation of it is blood. Literally every city in America, you're standing and walking on the bones of the North American Indians. So it's time for Black people, it's time for brown people to decolonize your mind. Face the facts, face reality. If it's all about a meal, you could have that meal any other time. And your giving of thanks is not genuine if everybody is doing it on social media. All of a sudden, y'all get real thankful around Thanksgiving time, but you never talking about how thankful you are any other part of the year. That's a follower mentality. And it also shows that it's not genuine. You can say it's lip service. That's all it is. Just lip service. You just going with the you go along, get along gang. I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for this. Hey, shout out to you, Shalot. But anyway, man, I'm about to wrap it up, man. I appreciate y'all. I'm finna go, and I'm going to go to work on this holiday hell day, this day that does not deserve my attention, that I could care less of. It's just another day to me. For me, it's just another day. It's just another day, as always. You know what I mean? And I'll add also that you're sitting down to eat a Thanksgiving meal. What you're really doing subconsciously is you are pledging your allegiance to white supremacy and colonization. That's what you're doing. You're pledging your allegiance to white supremacy and colonization. That's all you're really doing. So you don't really know it. People that celebrate, they don't really know it, but that's really what you're doing. Because if a few weeks from now, God forbid, there's a new story with something that has happened unjustly to a Black person, you're going to be fighting tooth and nail and protesting. But you keep laying in the bed of white supremacy. You go protest white supremacy, but you lay in the bed with white supremacy when you celebrate those holidays that are founded on white supremacy. Come on, you got to think. Think. It's like, I know as an Israelite, right? That's why you can't really, and I say this very humbly, you're just not on my level. You're not on our level. We get a lot of people talking about us, how we live, how we dress, but you're not on my level, because even when y'all be blackity black, pro-Black, y'all be you delineating, you be FBA, I guarantee y'all, they sitting down to eat Thanksgiving dinner. I guarantee it. If they're not sitting down, they're gonna eat some at one point in time today. What I say about white supremacy, I mean. There's some things you don't have no control over. Like you don't have no control over going to school, going to work, and dealing with everyone. But you do have control over what you decide to celebrate. You do have control over your own mind and body. Unlike our ancestors didn't have control. They had no choice. Our ancestors couldn't say, I'm not celebrating Thanksgiving because that's based on y'all killing the Indians. I don't agree with that. You think a slave could do that? No, they couldn't do that. But we're not a slave anymore. You in control of what you want to do. But a lot of the pressure comes from also is people. Because, if you say you're not doing that, now you got to deal with the pressure and the heat from your mama, from your grandma, from your cousins, from your relatives. They're saying, what's wrong? What the hell is wrong with her? What's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? Why he not? Cuz you don't want no honey ham? Nah, I'm cool. You ain't eating? Nah, I'm cool. What's wrong with him? A lot of y'all couldn't even take that. You'll fumble and crumble under that pressure. So many people they agree with what I'm saying, but at the same time, they won't be able to stand under the pressure of people looking at them like they weird, like something wrong with you. They wouldn't be able to do it. And so they'll continue to celebrate, But we have control now. We got control now. We can make a choice now, and we can speak and we can say, yeah, I'm on a platform. Yeah. Because, you have people saying, well, you on the internet, you on a white man's internet. I had somebody one time say to me, what is wrong? How you talking about this? I can't remember what I was talking about, but it was like, how is it that your people are still oppressed, but yet you got a nice setup, nice camera, and you live streaming? It was a white person. I was like, what that have to do with anything? Because I worked for the things that I have. That's why I have them. The two things can be right, right, true at the same time. Like, yeah, oppression is basically unfair treatment from a force or a government to another people. Unfair treatment. That's all oppression really is. And sometimes it's like when Black people say we oppressed, I think in certain people's minds, they think that we're saying that we're still in slavery. I'm like, no, oppression doesn't mean slavery. Oppression is just unfair treatment. So the question you should pose is, okay, since I know the definition now, when Black people get pulled over versus white people, are they treated fairly? When Black people get prosecuted for a crime versus white people, is the punishment a fair across the board? It's unfair treatment. That's what it means to be oppressed. A group of people being oppressed by people who are in power. Unfair treatment, which is something we see every day. Anyway, I'm just talking, y'all. I'm just talking. I appreciate everybody. Let me give y'all some shout outs. I'm about to get up out of here. All right. Can't take the heat. 0613. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate that. Kyle Mosbach. Hey, what's good with you? Thank you for your comment. Phyllis Brown. Thank you for your comment. Princess Nakaf. Thank you. Latrone F. Slade. Thank you, brother, for your for interacting with me. Okay. Ron Coleman. Shout out to you, bro. One of my main mans, right? Shalat, another one of my main men. Sister Kapa, another regular. Thank you, sis. Right. And Eric Irvin. Yes, brother. I will continue to speak the truth. And thank you for your comment. All right. So, yes, I'm going to wrap it up. And one more thing I want to say about this. that I didn't say. Because what made me think about it is what I'm about to say when I say, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day, stay safe. Well, what you're going to hear tomorrow is about a lot of accidents and deaths that happened today on a holiday we should not even be partaking in. So let that sizzle in your spirit. So shout out to all of you brothers and sisters. I appreciate y'all. I'll see you very, very soon. I'm the Wagga Bar, and this is Black Authentic Truth. Peace.
This is Black Authentic Truth.